Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. I just woke up. I stayed up very late last night, singing karaoke in my apartment. I don't know if y'all saw it on my story or on my post, but or posts that I've been recently reacquainting myself with my first true love. Now, when I say first true love, I am not talking about my high school boyfriend who, in high school, I thought I was going to marry and insisted that he get me a promise ring. And eventually, as all do, not all, but most puppy love first relationships go, we broke up. He joined the Navy, and that was the end of that. No. My first real love, which I met before I even met Steve Payton, if you're out there, hi, which was music. My very, very first love was music. And I'm talking about like first love as in I was 4 or 5 years old, and every single time that I went to go visit my grandparents and my uncle, and there was a piano, or my grandma had like one of those church organs, the electric ones. I would sit for hours just dinking around on the keys. Good morning. And by the time I was, how old was I? So I was in Colorado. By the time I was 10 years old, in elementary school, we were finally starting to learn to read music, and my grandmother ended up buying me, I still have a picture of it, I'm going to find it and post it this week, buying me this Casio keyboard for my birthday. It was like, just like, like that big. Casio keyboard with maybe 2.5 octaves on it. And because I was loving my music classes so much in 5th grade, I spent all of my time not only learning how to play treble clef, that's the high clef, that's, if you don't know anything about piano, that's the right hand, learning how to read the notes this as quickly as I could read a book, but could have been an SK1. I don't know. I have a picture of the day that I got it, so I'll bring that out this week. But also teaching myself note by note how to read the bass clef, which is how to play the left hand. And so this was probably in fall of 5th grade that she got this for me. And then by the time that I was moving on to middle school, that summer, my uncle, he challenged me. So he had an actual piano, and so my grandparents, my uncle lived close by, and so I was at my uncle's actual piano. No one in my house plays, by the way. Nobody in my family plays. I don't know why he had the piano, but he had one. And there's some music lying around, and he challenged me. He said, if you can learn this song by November of this year, and so this would have been the summer between 5th and 6th grade, so November of 6th grade, I'll give you the piano. I'm like, cool, I can do that. Now the song is called The Music Box Dancer. The Music Box Dancer is a complicated song for a girl that has never taken a piano lesson and that had been teaching herself just how to get the left hand to work on its own and the right hand to work on its own, and had no idea how to make the hands work together. So I taught myself how to play that song. And if you look it up, you'll understand why I say it's very complicated. Now, I taught myself how to play the song. I did not teach myself by November. I ended up learning the song by February, and I told my uncle that I learned the song and played it for him. Now, my skills were quite high for someone that had just taught herself, but I definitely, like, looking back, like I was playing whatever notes my fingers could reach on the left hand, whatever on the right hand. I wasn't actually playing left hand, right hand coordination correctly. And then I believe because we were then moving to Arizona, that my parents decided against getting me a piano, maybe thinking that my passion for it was going to fade or fizzle. But the family was impressed, and then my love for singing. I was in all the school choirs. I'd gotten a solo, but I was so shy. I was so very shy. I loved to be the center of attention, shocking, right? But I was shy to share and express my talent. Flash forward to 7th grade, 8th grade, Arizona, new girl in town again for the 12th time. And pretty much the only place that I was making friends was in choir and at church. And I continued this self-study of piano and continued to dedicate most of my free time just to learning new musical talents and songs. And my next door neighbors had a piano. And so I would either be staying after class before lunch during choir and teaching myself piano, or going next door to the neighbor's house and playing what I was learning. And my family had no idea just how well I played. My neighbor would tell them, and they'd be like, oh, like she must be just, dinking it around, like dinking out the melody of these songs. But no, I was full on sight reading, playing classical music. And it was when my parents were divorcing, my father began to date a woman in Westchester, New York, Janet, who her and I are still in contact, that I went out to visit her, and she had a grand piano. And I woke her up one morning. So I woke up very early, as I always do when I'm on vacation for some reason. Hence me always waking up at 5 a.m. now. I woke her up, not intentionally, but I was downstairs playing piano, and I was playing Fairlies. I wasn't just playing Fairlies one hand. I was playing Fairlies and sight reading it and playing some other music. And so she came down between 8th grade and 9th grade. When was that? It must have been freshman year. And she heard me playing, and she called my father. It was probably like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, Arizona time. And she called my father and said, you need to hear this. And he's like, oh, that's a nice recording. She's like, no, that is your daughter playing. And she already knew that I had a passion for singing. She'd taken me to go see Phantom of the Opera. She bought me all of the Sarah Brightman things. I started just to want passionately to sing opera, to sing classical. And when my dad heard me playing, he was just astounded. Like he had no idea. Like he knew that I could play well enough to get the neighbor's attention, but he had no idea I was playing concert piano at that point. I didn't even have a piano. I had a little Casio keyboard that only had 2.5 octaves on it. And so for Christmas that year, my father's Janet, she sent me a check in order for me to buy my first piano. So I bought my first upright spinet piano. My father still had never heard me play live. He knew I could play chords and stuff when we went piano shopping. And the day that piano arrived, I'd already bought 3 or 4 books of sheet music. Freshman year in high school, was already accepted into like the show choirs and these concert choirs. He knew I could sing. He knew I had a passion for classical music. Had taken me to an opera already that year. And I sat down and I played for 8 hours, music that I'd never seen before, never practiced before. I was just opening books, looking at whatever looked like it was easiest, and playing. And it was at that point that my father and my father's girlfriend acknowledged that I had a musical prodigy, part of my creative intelligence, I guess. I wouldn't say I was a musical genius by any means. Maybe I could have been, had I been more focused, had I been less distracted by the new Steve, the boyfriend, and trying to make friends and trying to fit in and trying to get all that external validation. But still, nevertheless, I got approached by Anna Schaff during a state choir audition. She was my judge at competition, and she asked me if I would actually want to attend one of her workshops. It was a voice mastery workshop. Long story short, I ended up training classical music my entire high school career. I almost didn't graduate, not because, not because of partying or anything. I did do that. I smoked quite a bit of weed. I don't think I've ever said that out loud to my family, but I smoked quite a bit of weed in high school. And I was ditching class and going to do that. But I wasn't just sitting around with my friends eating pizza and watching Price is Right when we ditched. Although there were mornings when that happened, I would spend a few minutes doing that, and then I would immediately go to the piano and I would practice, or I would ditch class and I would go to the music practice rooms and practice the operas I was learning and practice the classical music I was learning on the piano and just practice whatever I could. I was obsessed, like completely 100% obsessed. But one thing that my teachers never did, and they did the very best for me, they did exactly what they learned, they did what they thought I needed, is they basically instilled it in me that my passion was not enough if I didn't show it through hard work and dedication and sacrifice. Now, as a teenager, I had no idea the kind of damage that can do for someone that already had a love for it, that already was putting in the hard work, that already was so obsessed with it that I would have been willing to sacrifice anything and everything for it. But what I didn't see, because at this point I was finally taking piano lessons to correct all those mistakes that I'd been making by teaching myself, what I hadn't been being taught was that it needs to be fun. You need to keep on enjoying your passions. Instead, I was being told, no boyfriend, no this, no, like all the things that I would not be allowed to do if I really wanted my career to go through Juilliard, if I really wanted to be in the Metropolitan Opera. Just scare tactics is basically how I'm looking at it now. Now, I'm not at all upset with my teachers. I'm still very close with my voice teacher. I speak with her regularly, and every time I go and visit her, we sing for hours, and she tells me how proud she is of me for everything that I have done. But my passion and my love for the music was there, and it is there. And recently, in this isolation, I have finally come to the point where I'm like, you know what? Fuck that whole culture that says practice until it's perfect, and then only when it is always perfect are you ready to go on stage and share it with the world. And I say fuck that culture, because I have been hiding these talents for 18 years. I've been hiding these talents. Like, I tell some people on occasion, like, hey, do you want to hear me sing? But I've been hiding these talents behind things that required much more discipline, because I was not as in love with them. Yoga I was in love with in the beginning, but still there's a lot more discipline behind. I don't always want to practice, but I do it. I don't always want to do meditation, but I do it. The music side of me, I would play that first time that I played piano at my house when I finally had my own. The only reason I stopped, I would have played for 13 more hours, was because I was falling asleep at the piano. And I played like that every single night. That's the only time that I would be up at night at home, and my father did not mind that I was making so much sound until 3 o'clock in the morning. He didn't mind when I was singing. He didn't mind when I was practicing. He didn't mind when I wasn't getting the tones right or the notes right. And I'm so grateful to him for that. So Dad, if you're watching this, I want you to know that I recognize that I kept you up late many, many nights when you needed to wake up early for work. And I know that you slept through many alarms because of me practicing until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And this was like pre-Red Bull days. That was just coffee that was keeping me awake. But I would get so lost in the moment, just like I did last night. That's why I was up late last night, because I found an app that plays the accompaniment and records me, and I can sing along with other people. It's called Smule. And B, as tired as I was at 11 p.m., because I wake up at 5 a.m., 4:35 a.m. now, I could not pull myself away from just one more song and just one more song. And I no longer am listening to myself and saying, this isn't good enough because it's not perfect. So I'm going to be posting a lot more of my practice. No longer just waiting until things are just perfect. Just like I'm doing with these meditations. I get online every single morning with all of you. And I talk, whether or not I'm making sense or not, every single morning, because it's my passion. It's something that I will continue to do whether or not I'm getting paid or not. Now, good thing is donations that you send in, they help me to be able to keep my apartment, to eat, to feed Kiki, and to be able to have access to internet so I can download new practice sessions and everything. But I'll do it anyways. And I'm the same way with music. It's the reason I learned to play guitar, is just not because I'm not good at guitar. I don't know if you've noticed in my videos, I'm not good at guitar, and I'm okay with it. I'm not saying I'm bad. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just acknowledging I am not a natural guitarist, natural pianist. Even was learning to teach myself how to play the flute when I was in high school. Now it's entirely confusing, but I have a flute, so maybe I'll learn to play that as well. But I'm talking about this because we are moving into our second week of this, of the restart of the chakra cycle. And the second week of the cycle is the week of passion, our second chakra. Usually, when we're talking about the second chakra, we immediately associate it with sex, because the second chakra is about pain and pleasure, our likes and dislikes, getting lost in the moment. Its location is right where the reproductive organs are and our pleasure organs are. And I normally avoid talking about sex because I feel like it's distracting to the message. But since that is typically what's always on everyone's mind anyways, when they associate second chakra, I am going to talk about it today. Not just because sex sells, but because I think it's important that we understand the spiritual side of that kind of pleasure. So the second chakra is about our likes and dislikes. It's about getting lost in the moment. And there's like all of these different emotional cycles that we get caught up in. There's two sides of it. There's getting lost in the moment because you're really loving what you're doing. There's getting lost in the moment because you really don't love what you're doing. So for an example would be when you're getting in a fight with your special relationship and you're arguing and you're vehemently trying to stand your ground and be heard, and you get lost in the moment because you are not paying attention to the time. And I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but you start a fight, 3 hours before work, you start arguing, you start bickering, and next thing you know, you're 2 hours late for work. Same thing goes when we have that sexual relationship. You get started a little bit before work, you think you've got enough time, and then next thing you know, you're 30 minutes late for work. What this shows for us is that our second chakra is when consciousness starts rising out of what we need First chakra, getting rooted, is all about what we need. And once that is established and the energy is flowing, now it's in second chakra space. Now it's in this space where there's a pendulum, there's phases of everything that we really, really like. This is where we define our personality, mainly based off of past experiences, past memories of either pain or pleasure, that whole reward and punishment part of our psyche. And when it gets stimulated into this second chakra space, if it's too far in the direction of pleasure, we start to form codependent relationships. We start to form addictions, and we start to project our expectations of reality on our special relationships. And these are all relationships, all kind of partnerships. And when it's shifting too far on the other side of that energy is starting to be stimulated, that Kundalini consciousness, too much into the memories of pain and sorrow and things that we don't like, then we get locked in this cycle of complaining and addiction to being a martyr and feeling that we have to sacrifice pleasure in order to do what we like. Just like I felt that way in high school, at the end of high school, when I left all of it, and in order to learn the discipline that I needed in order to be a good musician and do what I wanted, I joined the United States Army, which eventually turned into me completely walking away from music up until this year. I sacrificed. I made myself a martyr because I didn't know, I didn't understand that doing something that you love just because you love it, because you deserve to do things that you love, is our natural inheritance into this world, is enough. I created all of this story around why I was doing it, because I wanted to help people, because I wanted to bring joy to people, because I wanted to heal people. This is all true. These are all things I want to do, but that's not why I sang. I sang because it was healing for me. I sing because it's healing for me. I sing because it keeps me away from that cloud of depression that started to hang over me basically when my mom's mental health started to fade. I sing not because it distracts me from a reality, because it allows me to express my internal reality. I sang a lot of sad songs. I learned to play piano songs, Moonlight Sonata, Fer-Elise, Fantasia, because I had all of these deep emotions that words were not enough to get them out. I sang because getting lost in those moments, whether it was good or bad, no longer felt like an emotional pendulum swinging from one side to the other. And the same thing when I played piano. Music was my outlet, and it was my creative force to be able to share all the ugly emotions I was feeling in a very beautiful way. And I don't blame anyone for diverting my path towards a life that is just about discipline. That was my choice. That was my vision of myself, and that is a path that I'm sure I chose before I came into this lifetime. Because many beautiful things have come out of that. I forgive myself for that. How is this related to this sexual chakra? The reason that we need to ask ourselves, why is it that we love sex? Why? Is it, we can give all these reasons, because it makes me more connected to my partner, because it's good for the health. There's all these reasons, like we can come up with a lot of analytical reasons why we love it. But bottom line is because it feels good. You get lost in the moment of feeling good, and it feels like the closest thing that we're going to get to heaven. to experiencing heaven while we're in this space. Now, the unfortunate side of it is that as all pleasure in the second chakra, all indulgence in the second chakra happen to be the case, when we are reliant on an external action to bring us to internal heaven, we will always be disappointed. When we're reliant on an external person, external place, or external circumstance to be able to bring us into that sense of peace, into that sense of bliss, we will be disappointed because nothing here is permanent. Nothing. Our body's not permanent. Your legacy's not permanent. Definitely those sexual relationships, they're not permanent. Even if you have a death till death do we part romantic, sexual, connected relationship, that sexual part of it, it's not permanent. One of the bodies is going to die or be unable to perform or just won't feel good anymore. So we need to ask ourselves, what is it that feels good? Outside of the sexual part of it, outside of the physical part of it, what is it that is really feeling good? A, validation. External validation. Someone else feels that you deserve to feel pleasure, right? Hopefully, that's the sexual relationship you have. B, allowing yourself to feel good enough, internal validation, to feel pleasure. C, having that brief moment of connection whether we like it or not to another person, having a moment of unity. Even if you are having one night stands, and I am speaking from plenty of experience, I am not ashamed anymore of the way that I used to live my romantic and sexual life, my promiscuity, because I learned the same lesson over and over and over and over and over again, that connection that you share with someone is energetic, no matter how much alcohol is involved, no matter if you were willing or not. There is a soul bond that occurs each time, and a little of that gets pulled away from you when you decide that it meant nothing. Because it all means something. These bodies are designed to be a medium of communication between our internal, not just our internal reality, but our internal loving awareness and consciousness, and the internal loving awareness and consciousness that everyone else is. These are mediums. This world, this planet, is a medium of communication between all of these different, quote, souls that are actually just have forgotten that we are all part of the same soul, that we are all part of one. We are all part of the same awareness. It is the same awareness within each and every one of us. So how do we establish this same connection, this same validation, both internally and externally, without sacrificing our passions, without sacrificing our emotional needs, and without sacrificing our physical needs as well. That's through validating yourself, understanding yourself, and giving ourselves permission to express these emotions in beautiful ways, to express all of these energetic outputs in a way that you see as beautiful because it makes you feel good. Not because other people think it looks good or sounds good or feels good, but because it is good for you. It is the chakra where we learn it's okay to be self-fulfilling. It's okay to be self-full. Selfish is the ego, doing things to serve your own validation and to serve your own angle, to serve your own ambitions, those self-serving ambitions, or doing things because it's taking care of your soul, because it's taking care of your passion, your need to feel like you're in the flow of your moment because it feels good, not because you're fighting for your life. It's that switch from loving your needs and being afraid of your needs. Loving your needs is looking at your personality, seeing what it is that you know emotionally you need, and loving it so much that you are willing to make the whatever sacrifice it is of external validation to give it to yourself, to give yourself that time, to say, before I get validation from anyone else, I first need to be able to do this. It's that whole you cannot love anyone else until you love yourself thing. So if that means having these emotional needs that someone provide meals for you or cook for you or clean for you, that someone plays music for you, that writes poetry for you, that all these things, that all these needs that we say we have in a romantic relationship, are you doing them for yourself? Are you taking the time to sit with yourself? Especially now, are you really taking the time to sit and journal, to sit and meditate, to sit and do any of these lost arts of creativity that you've been hiding underneath responsibility for your entire adult life, hiding under this false sense of duty to nourish your soul, nourish what you came here to do. And what we came here to do is to share our beauty, communicate our beauty, and I'm not talking external beauty, our internal beauty with all the other souls here. We are all reflections of a different facet of the great creation. Are we reflecting back fear of rejection towards one another? Or are we reflecting back this empowered sense of, this is what I feel beautiful doing, singing, drawing, writing, cooking, running, whatever creative spark lights your soul, and I want to share it with you with no expectation of validation, just because it brings me joy to do it. When someone asked me when I was 18 why I sing, I really wish I had been honest. Instead of being honest, I told him because I want to help people, because I want to do this, because I had this altruistic idea of the only reason to do anything is to help people. The best way that we can help anyone, that we can help each other, is to do what truly brings you joy, that lights you up. Because I'll tell you what, when you bring joy to your own self, It is radiating from you in all directions on the darkest night of someone's soul. If you come to them with a true, genuine smile of joy, there's a really good chance they're going to smile back at you, and they won't even know why. They'll just know that it feels better to be around joy. And that's the best way that we can help anyone and everyone. So that's why I started posting my opera songs, even though I haven't really trained in, 18 years. And the last time I got up in public to do it was 2008 in India, where I sang Ave Maria in front of 2,000 people for Christmas. 1,000 of them were children that talked the entire time. So, but I also sang for my guru. And I remember him asking me, after the first time he heard me sing, I sang What a Wonderful World. I remember him asking me, are you a musician? And even though I'd been in the army and I was working at nightclubs and was more into dancing and everything, from the truest part of my soul, I said yes. I said, good. This is something you should keep doing. And he was right. And so now my responsibility to myself is to surrender into my music. And not all of the music that I wish that I was designed to sing, but the music that is natural for me to sing. I'm not going to let my song die inside me anymore. So I ask you for this meditation today. Is there a song inside of you that needs some life support? Is there a passion inside of you that needs some love support? Something that perhaps got buried 20 years ago because someone told you you weren't good at it, but you loved doing it anyways. 'Cause I'll tell you what, have you been to Art Basel? There's a lot of really famous artists that are making a lot of money, and it's not because anyone said that they were good at what they did when they were younger, because I'm not much of a fan, but it's because they had a passion for it, they believed in themselves, and they had an enthusiasm for themselves. For God's sake, someone sold a $2.7 million banana with a piece of duct tape. You can do this. You can have enough passion for yourself, for your first loves of your life. Even science. It doesn't have to be artistic in the traditional sense. You can have enough passion for your own self, your own relationship with self, to surrender into that, and then just let all the other stuff that we think we like and we don't like, that is based off the conditioning that everyone has told us, the way that life is supposed to be, all these emotions that are just triggers that have been generated and conditioned into us, those are going to start to slip away. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to focus on that. Come back to what you love. Focus on what you love. Focus on what is beautiful within you, even if it's just a feeling of, this feels beautiful when I do it. And focus on that. So let's do a quick 5-minute meditation. Tomorrow we'll meditate more. I just felt the need to do much more talking today, 45 minutes of it apparently. And I'm going to meditate comfortably on my reading couch, my reading and writing couch. I'm not going to sit up perfectly straight and tall. It's Sunday. I'm going to be chill, and I highly recommend you do as well. And we're just going to close our eyes because we're going to do some visualization today. Easy visualization. Closing your eyes. Lean in comfortably to wherever you are. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Allow the corners of your mouth to turn to the hint of a smile. softening the expression around your eyes and in between your eyebrows. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale on a sigh. One more time, breathe in. Exhale out. Last one, inhale. Hold it, and I want you to relax your body. Relax your legs, your feet. Bring your attention to the back of your eyelids, to the crown of the head. And now exhale. Turn your gaze to the back of your eyelids. Looking into this clear space behind the eyes. Visualize around you this clear, deep space completely surrounding your whole body, surrounding even this, like whatever chair or couch you're sitting on. Just allow your chair to be part of your vision. Now you can stay comfortable. And on seeing this space, this deep space that's behind the eyelids, the Chittakash, completely surrounding the body in infinite directions with no seam to the horizon or to the vertical, infinitely expansive in all directions. Visualize before you a staircase. Allowing that psychic version of yourself to stand up from your comfortable seat while your body remains still. Take a step on the first step of the staircase. And then look up towards the top of the staircase. You have 27 stairs. And at the very top of the stairs is a bright, shining light peering out through a tunnel. Begin to take one step up each stair with each breath. So inhale, right foot on the next step. Exhale, left foot. And as you walk up the stairs, you're going to actually hear the sound of your breathing, the sound of your heartbeat, but also the sound of your footsteps. "27 steps." And as you approach the opening at the top of the steps, you begin to feel a warming sensation in between your hips, a release of tension in the stomach, an opening of anticipated excitement within the heart. magnetic pulling sensation of the throat. And a tingling sensation in the back of the head and in the eyes. As that blissful moment of passion is what awaits for you at the top of this stairs. And yet we don't know what it looks like yet. We just feel the sensations arising. Arising in the form of a subtle, psychic, orgasmic-like bliss throughout all of the energy centers. As you near the top and your head begins to peer through the hole, the light is so bright. Like the light of a golden sunset. But completely immersing your whole vision in that golden, bright light. Until both of your feet pass over the 27th step. And you are standing in a field. Standing in a field at the youngest age you can remember, feeling joy in your moment. Maybe 10, maybe 8. Your best friend from that time is in the field with you. And in their hands, they're holding what was your favorite hobby, when you were that age. You're holding the tools. They want to play. What is this tool? What is the creative outlet that you and your best friend are going to play? Was it art? Was it music? Was it a sport? There is no wrong answer. And take notice when the judgmental thoughts start arising. The first answer is the right answer. Then later on your own, you can explore other ones. Still experiencing this intense bliss from the second chakra all the way to the third eye. Take this gift from your best friend's hands. your very first special relationship was not necessarily a romantic partner. It was your best friend showing you and reflecting back to you that which you enjoy to do the most. Your first teacher. Bless them with gratitude, no matter where they may be now. And then take that gift with you back down the stairs. One step at a time. Inviting all elements of this present reality to be prepared to support and love. Love is in the action, not as in the feeling. Your creativity of your passion. As you make it to the bottom step, see your psychic body return to your physical form, sitting on whatever couch or chair in the middle of the field of infinite awareness. And then bring your gaze to the back of your eyelids again. And before opening your eyes, visualize the room around you. Before you open your eyes, when you do open your eyes, do not look at your phone. Instead, you're going to take 20 seconds to allow your eyes to jump from one object to another throughout your room, throughout your surroundings, and on each item that your eyes land on, mentally say to yourself, this table or this lamp, whatever it is, this item holds no meaning in reality. Whether you believe this or not, we're going to retrain the mind. It starts with removing our preconditioned meaning, which are typically emotional meanings, from simple items. Again, open your eyes, looking around your room. This shelf holds no meaning in reality. This mirror holds no meaning in reality. Keep going, looking around your room, at items close to you, at items distant from you. Ten more seconds. Without being prejudiced to any one object, no objects are holding meaning. And closing your eyes again, remember what it felt like to have that gift from your best friend being held in your hands. This item holds no meaning. And open your eyes. For it's not the items in our surroundings, it's not the relationships in our surroundings that hold meaning. What holds meaning is the blissful, joyful feeling you have when intending to create and express with those objects, with those people. Meaning is something that we can recreate moment to moment. So welcome to lesson 1 of passion, as well as that was lesson 1 of A Course in Miracles. So thank you for joining. Tomorrow, I will see you at 7:30 in the morning. I am also starting a Course in Miracles study group. I haven't decided what day yet, but if you want to drop me your phone number in a DM, then I will give you the information. It's going to be a free study group, only, donation based, whatever you would like to donate isn't going to require anything, but the donation is just going to make sure that we can get some of the materials of the Course in Miracles to certain people, and so that I can keep on doing what I do. So see you tomorrow morning, 7:30, 7:45 more or less, and keep on practicing those miracles. I'll probably be posting some more songs, so tune in. All right, love you all.